guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Design. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm filming in my kitchen again, and I think you're going to figure out I film in here a lot because I like the island. It's almost like a standing desk. Plus, when I'm doing vintage, I do like to be in the main part of my home, the living room, dining room, breakfast area. So it just makes sense to film in here, especially for you guys. Today though, I have a great video. I'm super excited. We're gonna do wall collage or wall gallery, however you want to say it. And I'm gonna show you how to create an all vintage wall gallery or wall collage layout using nothing but vintage. And then I'm gonna show you how to mix in a little modern with the vintage, a little touch. Because when I am helping people bring vintage items or use vintage items, antiques that maybe they purchased themselves, maybe they got from a family member, a lot of times when they get them, they're like, I don't know how to incorporate this into my home, into my life. And it can seem kind of daunting. So today we're going to talk vintage wall collage or wall gallery, and I'll show you how you can create one just for you. So come on and let's get started. Okay guys, so some great vintage items you can use to make your own great collage wall or gallery wall are vintage mirrors, any shape and size that your wall, can handle. This is the old 1970s, early 80s home interior. So I've got that. You can use doilies. You can use old vintage handkerchiefs. These are great for adding pops of color. You can use old rattan pieces, whether it's a round basket, square, or a shape. Of course, you want to collage in some old photos, maybe. And this is my family. You definitely, if you're going to collage in old photos, you definitely want to use family members because they're going to be up on your wall. You can use decorative pieces of china, plates, anything you have. This is a Fitz and Floyd. And it's a gorgeous artwork. I would put a hanger on the back and hang it. Like I said, old plates, china plates. If you have only a few pieces of maybe grandma's china, why don't you put a hanger on the back of one of the plates and hang it on your vintage collage wall. You can use a vintage magazines, maybe for the date, maybe for the date, maybe for the cover. You like the subject, maybe it's a dramatic time, the art, whatever, but old magazines. Vintage handheld mirrors. Guys, these are all works of art. You have some that are lucite, like this one. This one is just a gold with a pretty back on it. You would attach the hanger to the mirror part because you're doing it for the shape and the look, not for the mirror on these. And then something else fun is you can find a lot of vintage wall pockets. And this is just an example. It's really pretty. The wall pockets come with the hangers on the back already. And you could even put flowers in here, fake flowers if you wanted to. You could put something else that has meaning that would give your wall more texture, more color. What I like about this wall pocket is it's 3D. You can see it has a lot of texture, has a lot of movement to it. And again, that's the great thing with colorful pieces of china or a collectible plate, something like that. Again, you get the color, you get the texture, And you get the shine. The mirrors obviously help your room feel bigger. They reflect back light. So having a mirror in your collage wall is always a good thing. And like I said, the vintage hankies, pops of color, you could have 3 or 4. You could fold them in half. They don't have to be framed because you want the different shapes too. You don't want all different sizes of rectangles like framing things. You could put some hankies like this, sideways. You could do some full squares. And same thing, if you have vintage photographs you're going to use, change up your frames. Make some rectangle, but put a circle one in there every once in a while. Same thing with the mirrors. The great thing about using the hand mirrors, the vintage one, is because they all do come in different shapes and sizes, different colors, different textures, so these are great. Now that's for an all vintage collage wall, and I'll show you how that looks laid out right here. Now what if you wanted, though, you want the modern, you want the uniform look of all the rectangles, but you want to throw a pop of your vintage in there? What could you do? Pretty simple. You can lay out your rectangles, and I'll show you that one here, and then come back and pop in some of the fun vintage. Always pop in a mirror if you can, because like I said, that will slide around your room. It opens your room up. So if you can incorporate a mirror, do that. If you can find one, because you have all rectangles going on, if you could find a vintage mirror that is a circle and is not huge, do that one. Or an oval. It's just going to help change it up a bit. But if you like the rectangle and you like the rectangle with all the other rectangles, go with a rectangle if you can find it. This shape right here is easier to find, that or the fatter rectangle mirrors that are vintage. But definitely throw in some textures too, because if you're using this, then you don't need textures. That's all flat and glass. So definitely come back in with some texture of a basket, something rattan, the texture of a doily or of a hanky. And of course, your wall pockets would all look great too. Now, this one may not look good with the art that you see on the side, but if you had a solid gold one, it would look good. You do want to make sure that there's not a total clash. Like, this is very traditional. It went with our vintage collage wall great, but it's a little too traditional for the modern collage wall. So in that case, maybe finding a vintage gold wall pocket, something like that. And again, the mirrors, the handheld mirrors would look really good in this one. So I'm going to mix in a few of these elements with the modern and show you here. One more thing you can do that would mix in well with the vintage wall collage or the modern vintage mix wall collage is to add in a bouquet of flowers. You add these in, and I have this one in a boot sock. I put a vintage key on it just because I think, like the whole look, the colors are very vintage. My roses kind of fell out earlier and I just stuck them in the wrong place, but let's put these in. But make your flowers, have them in wrap some way. You could use a vintage gift wrap, you could use vintage wallpaper, adorn them if you want to with a little bling. You don't have to. And then you could add these on your wall too, and for the vintage, all vintage look, it would look like this. And for the vintage modern look, it would look like this. In the modern wall collage or wall gallery, I do have frames for all of those artworks you see just without frames. I just didn't put them in yet because I'm getting ready to hang it all. And I'll show you that in a future video how it all came out. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some ideas how to either make your own vintage wall collage or gallery wall, or a mix of your style now, whatever that may be, with a few choice vintage items that you yourself have picked or have been gifted to you by family members. Guys, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below and click that little bell above, or below too. Anyway, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any more videos, because our next video is going to be all the different ways we can use all of these. Let's see here. All of these and many more over there. Brooches. Vintage brooches have so many uses, you're going to be blown away. So hit that subscribe button, click that little bell, because that'll let you know when a new video posts. That's all it is. Not meant to bug you or anything, just to give you notification when a new video posts. Guys, thank you for being here. Take care, have an amazing weekend, and stay safe. Bye-bye.